on the podcast side or viewing us on live on YouTube today, thank you for tuning in. On today's episode, we'll be talking about Zach LaVine is now expected to re-sign with the Chicago Bulls, aka if you've been listening to us all summer, we've been telling you guys this. The Bulls are also shopping Coby White and the 18th pick, and we'll also be talking about the front office monitoring the trade market for Nikola Vucevic and what that really means. We'll get into all that and more on today's.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Bulls either your first listen or your first watch every day. Locked On Bulls, member of Locked On Podcast Network. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm CEO Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, where I cover the Bulls every day. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Pat, it finally happened. It was like the floodgates opening, right? It's been so long since we had some actual news to talk about. Now, while some of this has already been expected for quite a while, we've been expecting it. It's still good to actually get some news on the Chicago Bulls, a team that we love to cover. And yeah, man. Yeah, first up, though, Zach LaVine is now expected to re-sign with the Chicago Bulls. Now, we have been saying this for a while, Pat. I don't care. I toot my own horn, especially when we put in the work for it. We've been telling you guys to expect this and to be looking out for that. It always made more sense. There was 55 million reasons on why Zach LaVine was going to return to the Chicago Bulls. But man, Pat, what did you think hearing this news, brother?
I wasn't surprised by it. I felt like this was the expected news. And none of the other teams made sense, right? Like maybe the Lakers make sense, right? Because Zach LaVine wants to be the face at some point of a bigger franchise. But San Antonio, I mean, he wants to play with I can't even think of his boy, DeJounte Murray, right? He wants to play with DeJounte Murray. That was the big statement around that. He's got to play with DeJounte Murray. Oh, he wants to play with Dame and Jeremy Grant. First off, that don't even sound like a good thing. Dame and Jeremy Grant out in Portland. He wants to go home. He wants to play for none of them really made a ton of sense. We've been saying that the entire time. So to me, right, like, I'm not surprised by the news today. I feel like this is and listen, it's not done, right? Like I don't want to report it like this is a done deal.
Yeah.
But this is what Clutch Sports wanted. This is where they wanted pandemonium in the offseason. You want to know why? Because nobody was talking about Zach LaVine as being the guy on a team outside of people here in Chicago until you started thinking about, oh man, Zach LaVine paired with Luka Doncic, that might be pretty nice. Oh, Zach LaVine with LeBron James, that'd be interesting right there. Oh, Zach LaVine, and they did their job. What Thibs used to say, do your job. Good job, Clutch Sports. I applaud you for doing a great job. I'm not surprised.
Hey, that's all that it boils down to. Clutch did their thing, right? Yeah. Zach LaVine became the biggest conversation in basketball for a minute there. And right, that was something that it wasn't on the table beforehand. And yeah, people kind of coming into this offseason, it seemed like it was all but foregone conclusion that most people and teams said, hey, Zach LaVine is going to be re-signing with the Bulls. So there wasn't maybe a lot of interest as they wanted there. There wasn't enough, they wanted to make sure that the Bulls didn't have the full say-so to say. And that makes sense. They did their job for their client. And like you said, we don't want to report that it's a done deal because it's not. Is he still going to be fielding meetings with other teams? Because if he is, that always leaves the door open for some team to come in and hit you over the head with a deal that you just did not expect. Or a plan that you didn't expect. So let's not say that it's necessarily a done deal, but just the fact that it's being reported now the way that it is and that national media attention has kind of shifted some, it just makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, now I think, right, don't you feel like now we can kind of start seriously putting this team together? Now you're going to see AK seriously take a look at really putting this team in the pieces around mid-level exceptions, what they're going to bring in, what's going to be best for them moving forward. Now I feel like the team's finally going to be moving in the right direction. And we're going to see what pieces are going to get added in. Do they go Mitchell Robinson? Do they go, what's going to happen is we're going to talk about the trade with Coby White and stuff like that that could possibly come. Like now I feel like that if there is this confirmation, at least in the Bulls front office, because remember Cap reported that he was hearing from the front office that there's a dissension on Zach LaVine's name. Yeah, of course it is. As long as the two dudes at the top want Zach LaVine to be there, which they told us they did. I love this about the offseason too. It's like, why should we believe that Zach LaVine's coming back? Well, AK said he's gonna give him the max. Wants to be here. And Zach LaVine said he's gonna remember all the good times he's had in Chicago, and he's gonna take that into the offseason with him. That don't mean nothing. Oh, all right. I mean, doesn't this feel like now we can finally start focusing on what this team really needs heading forward?
Absolutely. And that's the thing is that it like I said, it doesn't completely qualm those talks because there is still a chance, right, that he still may sign with another team. But at least now we can start talking about other things, like how are they going to continue to build out this team? What are they going to do with Vooch? What are they going to do with Coby White? Which is we're going to get into some of that later on in this same episode. But at the end of the day, that security, that certainty, just like Zach LaVine wanting that security and certainty in his long-term deal, now the fans can start feeling that as well. Some of the fans, they everybody can't pay attention to every and anything and every little permutation. So now that this is getting out more on the national media stage, some of the fans can kind of calm down as well. We know there are going to be a lot of fans that are upset. A lot of fans that still think Zach LaVine should not get worth max money or whatever. And we'll talk about that once the deal is signed. I'm not even about to get into that conversation today because it's not worth it. Once the deal is done and we get the details of the deal, we'll break it down here. But other than that, I mean, this was the more likely outcome the whole time, man.
Yeah, no, I think that this is for me, right? Like now I'm looking at once the final number's signed, once everything's on the dotted line, where is the Bulls' next step? And to me, that's going to dictate the rest of the offseason. Signing Zach's a great move. It is. To me, it's a great move because 27-5-5. I said it on the Daily Show on the Breeze today. I don't know what y'all want from a guy. Like, I don't know what you want in a player at your two guard position.
They want him to be perfect, Pat. They want him to be perfect. If it's not Michael Jordan, they don't want it, bro. You know what? Fans nowadays will find issue with Michael Jordan.
Hey, bro. Hey, 100% nowadays.
Rookie, like first 2-3 years, Michael Jordan, he doesn't shoot threes. What shooting guard doesn't shoot threes?
And
come
that's
on,
exactly what was say. Hey, a scorer will never win a championship. You'll never be able to win with this guy. When Jimmy Butler was here, he's not good enough to win. He's not gonna be able to do it. Man, listen, y'all be wrong sometimes. Like we be wrong too. Don't get me wrong. We be wrong. But like 27-7-5, I want him here. But now I want to know what the next move is. Now I want to know where the next big move is because then we're going to see, right, where did AK really feel like in the year before the Bulls were most efficient at? If the next move is Mitchell Robinson, or if the next move is somehow they get I don't even remember which Bogdanovich is in Atlanta now. It's like 17 of them.
Why does it feel like there's a new Bogdanovich every season? I know there's not. There's still only like 3 of them, but like, come on, man.
What is it? Bojan? Is it Bojan?
Bojan
in Atlanta, I think. I don't know. If they go after a Bojan Bogdanovich, like I want to know what the move is that AK looked at last season and was like, hey, that's awful.
Yeah.
Because I feel like shooting is the most important thing that you can get out of anything going into this. I understand size, but I don't care what anybody says. We win that series versus Milwaukee last year if we can shoot.
Yeah, I feel that. We got a couple of comments, and somebody said, no, he actually averaged, Thunder said he averaged 27 in 2019. No, he actually averaged it last season in 2021, which was last year. And he averaged it this season before the injuries came in still. Yeah. And he actually was averaging the same he did last season on higher efficiency. And that's been the key thing with Zach. His efficiency got better every season until this season with the injury. So, yeah.
I'm also, gauging Zach as a healthy player. I'm giving him, I understand when he averaged it. I'm just saying when the last time we saw him 100% healthy, and even at the beginning of the season when he was 100% healthy, he was a 27-7-5 player. I understand that we think sometimes as fans that injuries is an excuse.
No, injuries are a reason.
But when things are broken, they don't work. And the fact that Zach worked to pretty much 80% of what he was averaging while broken most of the season,
I love how
is
you
another
worded that.
reason that I want him here.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. But all right, that is it for that first segment of Locked On Bulls. Next up, we're going to be talking about Coby White in the 18th pick being shopped and what that could mean for an exciting draft coming up in just a little over a week, which you can't wait to talk about. But first, got to talk to you guys about Prize Picks. So if you're looking for a daily fantasy option for the NBA, then you need to try the award-winning app Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. We love this, and we know you will too. It's easy to use. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. It's just you versus the projected numbers. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's just that easy. Prize Picks is safe and offers fast withdrawals. Use the award-winning app on both the App Store and Google Play. Now, right here, Prize Picks allows for mixed sports entries. And Prize Picks doesn't just offer NBA. They have options on college basketball, college football, NFL, MLB, soccer, MMA, and more. So for a limited time, Prize Picks has an exclusive no-brainer offer for all of our listeners. Users get $50 free if a player in your first Prize Pick entry scores a single point, but you must use the code NBA. That's right, an exclusive offer available to Locked On listeners. Sign up today and use the code NBA for $50 free if a player in your first Prize Pick entry scores a single point. Get that money, y'all. Come on, man. We're trying to get y'all that money. Get that money.
Hey, get your money right. And I'm hopeful. Yes, it's just me. I don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're a little interesting over there, brother. But we're going to get into what's going on with Coby White and that 18th pick. Pat, I know we both covered a lot of draft prospects, both here and on our respective channels. I put in work. I covered 26 draft prospects. That's more than guard packs covered in the last 10 years of their tenure here at the Chicago. So if AK and Eversley trade this 18th overall pick, I'm going to be a little salty, but I know they're going to do the right deal if that does happen. So when you hear that Coby White and that 18th pick are being shopped, right? And that's different than the Vooch news, which we'll talk about the distinction between that and what came out about Vooch. But what do you think the Bulls can get back for a Coby and 18th pick? Do you think they're moving up in the draft to select a better prospect? Do you think they're going to get a veteran player back and then move back in the draft as far as their the pick that they acquire? What do you think happens with Coby White in that 18th pick?
I think you're talking about if you're trading. Now, here's the question, right? Every player or every trade to me doesn't have to include both. We heard Coby White and we heard the 18th pick. It doesn't mean that they're packaging them together. Now, Coby White doesn't have a great amount of value, but maybe second round pick worthy. Maybe he's late.
See, do you see the deal that they just got for Green, bro? Like, I don't know if I would never say that Coby doesn't have that much value. A low first round pick, I think Kobe's worth the low first round pick. Look at his December, January, and February. The boy averaged damn near 16 points on high efficiency.
Yeah.
I would not say that he doesn't have any value.
It's just tougher, right? Because, well, it's true. It is Jermichael Green. Yeah. So listen, maybe there's more value out there than we think for him. Maybe that is what the case is. But even in that situation, right? Like, then I'm not giving you the 18th pick as well, right? Or maybe you value that higher, and now you go out and you get a big name player that you can go out and package that pick with, and now you're bringing home a Christian Wood or something like that, where like there's some interesting trades that I think the Bulls could make for either Coby White or the 18th pick. I wouldn't be sad if they traded the 18th pick, depending on what they traded it for. Now I'm gonna tell you this right now. We heard and I don't think we covering it on today's episode, but we heard the Viljaje Miksic news. Which is a name that
Vasile Mišić. I don't know if I said the first name right. I know I said the first name right. The last name I don't know. I may have murdered it.
Whatever. It is what it is. Miksic. We'll figure it out later. If he comes to the Bulls, we'll know his name. But I know that the news on him, like, I'd be upset if 18 went for him. Maybe not Coby.
Oh yeah.
But I'd be upset if 18 went for him, right?
Yeah, no.
But
not a 28-year-old player that hasn't played a minute in the NBA.
You know what I'm saying? And he's averaged 18 the last 3 years over in the Euro League. Okay.
2-time MVP over in the Euro League.
Perfect. I think I covered him last year for literally the same reason as well. Like I gotta look through. I'm almost certain I have a Villiers Meeks or whatever his name is on my channel. But the part that's interesting to me about the pick and or Coby and or both is that there are so many different moves that you could make with that either get you more draft capital in the future, get you a solid player this year. It really just is about what AK wants to do with it. And I don't think there's really a player out there that you could make the pick for that I could make a case that a draft pick is better than that player right now.
Okay. So with you presenting the idea that the 18th pick and Coby may be shopped separately, right? Maybe they keep that 18th pick, they move Coby. If you move Coby for Vucevic and you get OKC's 34th pick, that is a second round pick, is that enough for you in your mind for Coby White?
Yes.
Because then at that point, you can still draft players with a lot of upside, and like Orlando Robinson is still there. Christian Coloco, who a lot of people are high on. Caleb Houston, who I covered, who has not a lot of upside, but the ability to contribute right now. Marjon Beauchamp is a Beauchamp, who we both covered as well, has now moved in a lot of mocks into the second round just for that reason.
Yeah.
So there's some potential there. So
no, listen, if you can get, first off, I'm talking about just for a player, right? Like I said. A couple of the guys that I thought of, Cam Reddish, hey, let's see if he's actually got something or if he's really just a guy. If he is, we traded Coby for the same dude and we got we traded Coby for the same dude and we got the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not tripping on that. If on the flip side, you know, maybe they traded for an older player, a veteran, a Seth Curry, what's going on out in Brooklyn. Yeah, I'm saying like something like that. Those are the couple that I thought about immediately offhand. There's value in that. There's value in getting back a player that still has potential or a guy that's ready to go. I think it's really just about what AK wants to do. And if you can, to me, the best trades are to separate it. I think that you can get a solid potential pick with Coby White alone, or a solid potential player that could play now with Coby White alone, and not like a crazy upside player, and you keep your 18th pick.
That's a good point. I mean, you looking at that realistically, I mean, there's a lot to be said there. Depending on what you can get, like, because we're talking about Coby's value, right? And it really depends on what the team sees him as. There could be a team that's going into a slight rebuild, right? A team that has a lot of time before they're near even competing for a playoff spot that may look at Coby and say, hey, listen, we got 2 years to really take a look at him. We're going to let him start. We're going to let him get as many shots as he wants to. He's going to get 30 minutes a game. And we're going to see if he can become a consistent player. And if they see that in him, that may be a better value for them as then going after a late round pick and somebody. Because keep in mind, Coby's still only 22. He's going to be younger than a lot of the players who go in the late half of this first and in the second round as well.
And you have no idea on it, right? Now, I'm going to be real with you. Like, do we really feel like we're in a situation where we're rushing with that? Like, I guess if you want the draft capital, you might be in a situation. But do you think there's a chance Coby White starts the season on this roster and is a midseason move?
I do think there's absolutely a chance of that. There's absolutely a chance that when you...
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, right? Because now maybe his I don't think his value can get worse. I don't think Coby White's a terrible player. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think his value is going to go down next season. If anything, his value might go up if he has another hot couple of months like we've seen him have. It might be worth it in that situation to hold on to Coby White during the season.
I'm going to throw another potential trade out there for you.
Let's do it.
Is Coby worth trading Coby, the Portland pick for next season, so keeping our own pick this season, for Christian Wood?
Where the Portland picks outside the lottery as well, right? It's
that has to be because it's lottery protected, so it's going to
so
be
it's still. So you're still same. I'm somebody, right, that I would move that pick because I don't think that Portland's going to be outside the lottery, even if Dame's healthy. There's nothing left.
You got to see how they re-up, because I mean, there's a lot of deals going out there, rumors that they are going to be very active in the trade market.
But even then, right, that's a move you can make midway through the season. Again, another midseason move. Because what's Christian Wood? Where's Christian Wood going to be? He's going to be on Houston. Like unless somebody comes in and tries to get him out of there, I feel like he's going to be on Houston to start the season. I think the Bulls are the ones that are really pushing to go get a Christian Wood type player right now.
That's fair.
And I haven't really heard Christian Wood's name in a lot of trade talks.
Yeah, and it's been surprisingly quiet for Christian Wood, considering how active the trade rumors were around him at the season.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's. I guess we'll see. But
I would make the
quietness may mean that they already have a deal worked out. They're just waiting to announce it.
I like the move because I don't think Portland's going to be a mid team, right? Like they're either going to be awful because they're trying to rebuild, or they're going to be like a top 3-4 team in the West. Because they went out and paid a bunch of money for some dudes to put around Dame.
That's fair.
I think that's going to be the deciding factor on that. Hey, y'all, before we get into this final segment, first things first, man, if you guys haven't done so and you can't stick around for the full show, check out the podcast side, man. The podcast side is busting as well. Leave us a 5-star review on that mug because we're trying to become the best Bulls podcast on the net. We already there. Y'all just don't know it yet. You know
by the way, before you get into your read, I do want to say, because this is something that I didn't know either, Spotify has launched a rating system for Spotify as well. Before you could only rate on iTunes. You can now also rate on Spotify. So if you are a Spotify listener, make sure you leave a rating for us there as well.
Show us some love on that mug. I didn't know we was doing ratings on Spotify out here. Hey, but we do got to tell you about the Ultimate NBA mock draft. It starts June 16th with over 50 insiders. Nothing equals the Ultimate NBA mock draft. The Locked On NBA Big Board draft experts plus Odyssey insiders. First pick is June 16th. Search Ultimate NBA mock draft and follow now so that you don't miss a pick. We also got to tell you guys about BetOnline. Had to make sure I had the right day on that. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports development news, odds, including this year's NBA Finals matchup. It says basketball championship. Throws me every time. The NHL Hockey Conference Finals, MLB, and of course the latest fighting news in MMA and UFC to boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. Head to the website today. Use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline is where the game starts, y'all.
All right, now let's get into this last segment for the day. This one is on our boy Vooch. Bulls fans turned on Vooch. Listen, every time you call him Vucci, bro, that crap cracks me up.
Hey, I never turned on Vucci, man. Don't sleep on the Vucci, man.
But so in the same reporting rumors that we got today, it was saying that they are monitoring basically the trade market for Nikola Vucevic. Now, the big difference between that and shopping a player basically means that, hey, we're not necessarily looking to move him, but we're monitoring that value, meaning that if a deal is presented to us that we can't miss, Vooch you up out of here. Now, and that makes sense for a player that's a $22 million expiring contract. You're going to listen to offers. You're going to monitor what they're worth out on the market. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're actively looking to trade Nikola Vucevic. Pat, what do you think about this?
I agree, 100%. For me, the Vooch move is I think that's another midseason one, right? Like I think that's one where, hey, you guys want this expiring contract on heading into the offseason and you realize that you're going to have to rebuild moving forward. We'll send you Vooch, you send us whoever it is, right? Like I think the one that Shay mentioned yesterday, Domantas Sabonis. If the Kings halfway through a season are like, nope, we still suck even with you, right? Like maybe they move on from it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they always suck. I fully expect the Kings to suck next year. Watch them like make the Western Conference Finals, like on some like Chris Webber, Mike Bibby type stuff. Bro.
That'd be wild, fam.
What just happened? Mike Brown, De'Aaron Fox, and Domantas Sabonis was the key. But no, the thing for me when I'm looking at where Vooch could possibly go is all based on rebuilding teams. And maybe you feel like we're going to make this deal. I don't think it's a preseason deal is basically what I'm saying. I don't think that you're moving Vooch before the season starts. I think that as you get into the season, you want to know what it is. And listen, this is exactly what AK did last year. Hey, Lonzo, you want to be in New Orleans? Is that where you want to be? Zach LaVine likes you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. It's why we got hit with tampering. Yeah, I mean, like this deal was done well before this deal was done. So like, you could have waited 2 minutes, AK. Like, come on, bro. 2 minutes is all we were asking. But I feel like I wouldn't be mad at a Vooch trade, but it's for me, you got to be talking to teams that are tanking or trying to blow it up, because then they're looking to get rid of decent level talent to basically start all over, and they want an expiring contract in that situation.
I don't think that it necessarily has to be. I think there are some scenarios in which it doesn't necessarily have to be a rebuilding team. I presented today on Chicago Bulls Central completely pie in the sky, right? I'm not saying that this is likely or anything like that, but what if the Suns do go ahead? They re-sign Ayton because it just makes more sense. They match any deal. They know they don't want him long term. Midway through the season, they say, "Hey, Vooch, you're a veteran. You fit our window with Chris Paul.
Yeah.
You guys may leave at the same time." At that point, they look at some being able to re-sign them for considerably less than what they're considering to pay Ayton, and maybe the Bulls do have to throw in a future first and the Portland pick or something like that. I'm not saying that that's likely. I'm just throwing that out as like the type of deal that may present. You never know. It could be a team that maybe isn't a rebuilding team going into the season, but then things don't work out for them, and they say, "Hey, man, we're just gonna blow it up."
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it, right? Like it's not it wouldn't be a surprise to me. It wouldn't be like, oh, like AK's made wilder deals, like Vooch is here, right? Like so AK can pull some deals off. I just feel like if you're gonna get better value, and right, if you're moving on from Vooch, you're kind of saying, all right, like we're realizing that the big guys are getting older. We're gonna need some guys to step in that are kind of younger, right? Like even in a bad season, Vooch can still be 15 and 10. So it kind of depends on what that is. Kind of depends on what Vooch's value is as well. This might be the preseason gauge of it, right? Like, hey, what do you think about Vooch? I'll send you a late first round pick for him. I'll send you an early second round pick for him. You get the All-Star or get close to the All-Star break, and like, hey, what do you think about Vooch right now? I'll send him to you for a little bit of nothing. Oh, I'll send you 14, 15, 16 pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a game-changing move in that situation. So I don't know what Vooch's value is, but I'll say this. At a minimum, I love that AK's doing his job. I say it again. Clutch Sports did their job. Tom Thibodeau would absolutely give you a do your job, and AK would be killing the game right now, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
What's the value of my guy? It's not disloyal. It's not dishonest. It's not them trying to cheat a Vooch out of possibly being a part of a championship team. It's like, hey, this dude's 32 years old. What's his value right now? And just in case this goes south, just in case he wants to go to a better team, maybe it is sending him to a contender.
Mm-hmm.
And you send me some players that you're not going to use, right? Like maybe it's Herb Jones. I don't know. I'm just throwing names out there at this point, right? Like, I don't know. But like it's one of those things that I love that AK is at a minimum doing his due diligence, because we've had plenty of GMs in Chicago not do that. I.e. Deshaun Watson's not a Bear.
Thank God. But with that being said,
that's how you look at that situation.
And this is what I said with the whole Vooch deal. This was smart playing by AK, and I think we don't necessarily always recognize the genius in some of the things that AK did. When AK knew he wasn't committing long-term money to Vooch when it came in there, 1.5 seasons, 2.5 when it's all said and done, maybe, because if he's traded by the trade deadline, it's not even that.
Could be too even.
Yeah, it'd be too even. Like, to be able to have a $22 million expiring chip while your team is now a certified playoff team, that's a heck of a trade chip. Like, just saying. So
no, I mean I like it. I like that AK is at least checking to see what the value is. I like that, and I like that Vooch is going to be here to start the season. Because listen, all of this is real quiet if all of a sudden Vooch comes out and gives you some actual numbers.
Oh,
if Vooch comes out. Now it's re-signed Vooch. We love Vooch. Voochie.
And it's so funny because Vooch averaged 17 and 11, right, this season.
Yeah.
If Vooch averages 19 and 11, that's only, and he averaged almost 18 and 11. So that only really a 1.5 difference, right? Yeah. 19 and 11 with better efficiency in what he does. Bulls fans will literally literally completely flip on him for 1.5 points and a little bit better shoot.
What do you mean 1.5 points? They flipped on him 4 times in the middle of the season. Bro. Like, Vucci had a solid week, and they were like, remember all the trade? Bro, there was a cycle going around Twitter. It was like, trade Vooch, Vooch has a good game. Resign Vooch, Vooch has a bad game. Trade Vooch, Vooch has a good game.
And then there was that game that he did cook. What did he have? Like, it was like 24 and like 13 or something. And they were like, Vooch should be our 3rd All-Star this season.
Bro, it always happens, dog. It's nothing new. It's nothing new.
I love us, man. I love Bulls fans. That's all I
love Chicago, man. That's why we here. That's why we do this, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie. I'll say this, right? I'll rather deal with fanatics that are very back and forth on the players, but just because they want to see their team win, than what's going on down in Miami, where like an NBA Finals game. By the way, this isn't different. Like, it recently happened this season. An NBA Finals game is going on, and Muzz are just like, I'm out of here. What? How we losing? Y'all don't even got traffic like that.
Side note: did you see the way that Heat fans started reacting when Lowry didn't pass the body fat percentage test?
Oh, they were probably cheering in the streets.
Oh, man, listen.
Oh, they were probably cheering in the streets. Those same fans before Lowry was on the team was like, Kyle Lowry's the key. Let me tell you about Kyle Lowry's championship experience. That's what we need here in Kyle Lowry? You realize you talk about Kyle, like LeBron's not coming back. No, he's a defensive dog. Remember in Memphis, and he was next to Kawhi.
Bro, it's just good to remember. It's good to remember that Bulls fans aren't the only one that are up and down. That's why I say this on Chicago Bulls Central all the time. This happens in every fan. Heat fans are crazy. They crazy.
Man, what is a Heat fan?
There's really no Heat fans. It's just like people who live in Miami.
It's just Ringo. I've come to realize it's just Ringo. It's only Ringo. He's the only Heat fan I know. I was going back in history.
Shout out to Ringo, by the way, man. Bro, come on. Shout out
I was going back in history one day, like talking about like, y'all ain't been here, y'all ain't did it. He was like, what about Alonzo Mourning? I was like, what? You giving me Heat history, brother? Like, is that what we do? Gary Payton was on our team getting buckets. What? Gary Payton?
God, man, that is hilarious, bro.
Hey,
that's
man,
funny.
Ringo's the soul Heat fan. Shout out to him, man. See Red Nation, though. We killing the mugs.
Man. All right. I mean, you got anything left, bro, man? That's it for today, man.
Let's get up out of here, man. Follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Also follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls.
You can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. If you want something funny to watch and you haven't, go and watch Zach LaVine reading mean tweets. It was hilarious.
Did he do a new one?
Yeah, it's a new one. It just came on last night.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
It was a bunch of NBA players on there. But thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen or your first watch every day. Now, for your second listen or second watch, go and check on Locked On NBA Big Board. Listen,
get on that.
Raphael Barlow does his thing. We're trying to get him over here, especially now they're recording midday rather than late at night. Because listen, we used to pull in vamp hours to record Locked On.
11 o'clock. Let's go.
But yeah, man, make sure you go and check them on. What they do over there is basically break down the draft at almost a scientific level. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast, man. Thank you for tuning in to this live version of Locked On Bulls. We love you guys, man. We'll see you lovely and beautiful people.
Hey, hold up. Before we go, it's 90 people in here. It's 90 people in here. Hit the like button.
Hit the like button. I don't even know what likes we are. We don't have
23 likes. Hit the like button.
Come on, man. Hit the like button before you
go. All right, let's get up out of here.
This is what I'm going to say. Y'all hit the like button a little bit more often. We may very well go live a little bit more during the off season because we ain't got nothing else to do. But we appreciate you. We appreciate y'all, man. Peace, y'all. That's fun.